Ever since the announcement of the PlayStation 5, everyone's talking about all the games we could have on the upcoming Sony console. Here's our list of the 15 upcoming PS5 games. We begin with the confirmed games, starting with a new Bluepoint Studios game. Bluepoint Games is a studio known for their impressive ports and remasters. From Metal Gear Solid, Uncharted's Nathan Drake collection, and the recent Shadow of the Colossus. Right now, we still don't know what game they're churning out for the PS5, but it's confirmed that they're planning to use the next-gen power for some. While nothing is set in stone, there has been some talk in the grapevine about a Demon's Soul remake. I guess that isn't too far off since it's a Sony-owned IP. There isn't really much after that, but what with Bluepoint's great repertoire, we're already looking forward to it. Dying Light 2. We already know that Dying Light 2 is bringing its brand of customizable zombie apocalypse to the PlayStation 4. But just recently, Techland has confirmed that it's going to be a cross-generation release on the Xbox Scarlet and of course the PlayStation 5. Apparently, this has been planned since the beginning of production, according to the company's CTO, Powell Roletter. This news marks one of the first confirmed cross-gen titles for the upcoming console, though not much is known about how different it'll be in the different platforms. We know that Dying Light will be on the PS4 by about spring of 2020, but its PS5 release is yet to be determined. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Square Enix's remake of the classic Final Fantasy VII exploded into the E3 scene this year with all its fancy new mechanics and fancier graphics, so it makes full sense that it's coming on the PS5 too. This much was confirmed when the company president and CEO Yosuke Matsuda told Game Informer that the title was being developed to be playable on both consoles. On the other hand, there are still some unanswered questions about what form it'll take on the way to the upcoming console. Primarily whether it'll stay as an episodic adventure or not, we will have a long way to go with waiting, but at least we know it's coming. Eventually. With that out of the way, we move on to the rumored list with Cyberpunk 2077. Well, this isn't much of a secret. In some interviews, CD Projekt Red has already confirmed that their cyberpunk dystopia with all its massive features is being developed with the next gen in mind. It's only appropriate that the awesome open-world look into some kind of future is being future-proofed as well. From all the previews we've seen, Cyberpunk 2077 is looking like a showcase of advanced technologies, from their diverse populace to the myriad of customizations available in their character appearance, background, and even modifications. With the imminent arrival of the PS5, it looks like we'll get to experience all of that in more detail, but it'll be quite a wait till then. Death Stranding. The release of Kojima's latest masterpiece is already happening on the PS4. Yeah, we know that much. But with the ambition and promise that the title seems to have, it would be perfectly sensible to release it again on the next gen too. The PlayStation 5 is reported to support up to 8K graphics, which might be a great way to fully immerse in the weird and unsettling universe that Kojima created. No actual confirmation, as usual, but a Wired report cites PS5 architect Mike Cerny's smile as a possible suggestion that it might be happening. Remember, nothing is certain just yet.
So I'll ask you once again, Samurai. Do you surrender?
Ghost of Tsushima. One of the scene stealers of E3, this rumor, as their propagators admit, is more of a bit of wishful thinking. It wouldn't be unexpected though. Ghost of Tsushima's trailer telling the tale of the last samurai on the island during the Mongol invasion was jam-packed with detail. So much so that it could fully immerse us in its world. That's probably one of the many reasons why people are expecting to experience the game in its fullest potential on the upcoming PS5 console. There's a lot of speculation, sure, but Sucker Punch, the studio behind the title, is still mum on the details. The Last of Us Part 2. Sony's most beloved gems. When the first installment of The Last of Us came out, it also eventually became a cross-generational title that could be experienced on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. Given all that, and the fact that Part 2 is already slated to release on February 21st, 2020, a mere months away from the late 2020 PS5 release, it really wouldn't be that much of a stretch to assume that the title is coming to the PlayStation 5 too. The Last of Us Part 2 is perhaps one of the most anticipated titles on the Sony lineup, and it would be odd of them to hog it all on the PS4. Logical, sure, but we're still waiting on more details to substantiate the claims. Starfield. Bethesda's glossy new IP hopes to introduce us to the beauty of our own cosmos. It's the most awaited space RPG, and we've been aching to hear more about it since its first announcement teaser. The studio, however, has kept pretty silent about it. Understandable, since it does seem that the title is still in its early development stages. There are some estimates that put Starfield's release at sometime in 2020 or even later. As what seems like a massive game, though, it's almost expected that the title will stretch its frontiers to the PlayStation 5. Bethesda, unfortunately, has not made any confirmations just yet. The Elder Scrolls 6. Just like Starfield, Bethesda isn't saying much about this explosive new chapter in the Elder Scrolls series. All they had to give us was last year's 37-second announcement teaser, which everyone pounced on with all their conspiracy theory might. Add that to the fact that it didn't have any more details in this year's E3. It's the formula for maximum hype, and Bethesda knows exactly what they're doing. What we do know about the game, though, is that it won't be releasing before Starfield, and that means even more waiting time for us. Recently, an article from the International Business Times revealed that The Elder Scrolls 6 is currently in its concept and design phase, so we can be sure it's still got a long way to go. Grand Theft Auto 6. If you thought the last few games were a stretch, we're only just beginning. What with all the success of Grand Theft Auto 5, Rockstar has been milking the cow as much as they can. Because of that, it's understandable that it'll be a while for the next installment. But if they don't go the Todd Howard way of doing things, we can logically expect that the next new Grand Theft Auto title will make its debut on the next generation. These are all but mere speculations, though. As for Rockstar, it looks like they're all hands on deck with Red Dead Redemption and haven't made any particular hints on the subject as of yet. So we'll have to make do with GTA 5 for now. Horizon Zero Dawn 2. The speculation continues with a cybernetic prehistory of Guerrilla Games' action RPG. Released a little earlier in 2017, the hype for Horizon Zero Dawn may not be as massive as the later titles, but it remains a fan favorite for some and definitely worthy of sitting beside Sony's other exquisite exclusives. Since the game had a lot more time to stew, it seems a lot more likely for its sequel to come out soon, which might coincide with the PlayStation 5's arrival. There hasn't been any actual confirmation of a sequel from Sony or Guerrilla Games. Horizon's voice actors, though, on the other hand, have spilled the beans. What platform it will release on, though, remains to be seen. God of War 2. Less likely, but still logical, is the idea that the next God of War game is going to be on the PlayStation 5. Even though it just arrived on the scene in 2018, God of War has proved itself to be a worthy title in the Sony lineup, elbowing its way into the top spots in almost every list. With that in mind, it's clear that the series will continue to excel, and as such, a sequel is likely on the horizons. Another clue is that Cory Balrog has been quoted to say that their DLC plans were too ambitious, which may mean that their next venture will require a whole lot more power. Sony has not spoken a word about this at all, but their actions do speak otherwise, with a number of job listings being posted by Sony Santa Monica for a variety of roles. Spider-Man 2. Another one of Sony's big-time exclusives. The new Spider-Man series will also likely continue its footing on the PlayStation 5. Like God of War, Spider-Man was definitely in the top ranks of 2018's best games, which means the level is only gonna get higher in the coming sequels. Spider-Man's last DLC arrived in December 2018, so more content may not be expected on the PS4. What is likely is they're preparing something for the arrival of the PlayStation 5 sometime later in 2020. As per usual with these speculations, Sony has not made any comments just yet. Project Awakening. Cygames' take on Western role-playing games is one of the most concrete examples on this list. For one, it's actually in development, and we've witnessed a lot of it thanks to its official trailer, as well as a number of gameplays and interviews. Cygames built their name on their mobile titles like Grand Blue, and this marks another venture in console gaming. From what we've seen so far though, it looks absolutely stunning. While we know it's definitely gonna happen, its actual release on the PS5 is still pure speculation. That's based on the fact that it's still heavily in development right now. It still could be a PS4 title, but it's likely that it'll make some slight adjustments to work on the PS5 too. Watch Dogs Legion. Ubisoft's ambitious entry to their Watch Dogs is also a possible runner in the PlayStation 5 launch. Legion continues the technological innovations, both in their story as well as their features. Watch Dogs Legion sees players being allowed to play as absolutely anyone who chooses to take part in the rising revolution. There's a lot of variety in gameplay, and it's an ambitious feat to say the least. Since its PS4 release will hit close to the PS5 launch, it's only reasonable that it'll follow shortly after. That's exactly what Ubisoft has been hinting at recently. When will it be? We will have to wait and see.